Okay, well, let's get started. Tonight's topic is called Yes, It Is Negotiable. It's more like about negotiation in relationships, right? I just want to share a couple of scenarios just to set up the tone of the talk so you know what we are talking about. So I've got a couple of good negotiation exchanges. Okay, a couple of scenarios I'm going to read out. Okay, scenario one, sharing responsibilities and negotiating fairness. Person A, I feel like I am the only one organizing and you are doing nothing. Person B, getting defensive. I didn't know it bothered you. You said you were fine. Person A, you just don't care about me, do you? Person B, negotiating. Well, I will help if you are being specific and less heavy-toned because the communication is just not there. It's not clear. Person A goes back, okay, well, I agree. If I'm being clear, can you not look annoyed? Person B, okay, fine, I will do that. But if you share, be gentle and just say in 5 minutes, I will do it. And then finally, the other person say deal. So there's a scenario one. Within such a short conversation, you can see there are a lot of negotiation elements. They're able to share what they need and what they want in such a short conversation. Obviously, this is made up. Scenario two, I hope this is a little bit more intense. Emotional triggers, reacting to dismissal or criticism. Person A, when you said I was wrong, I felt judged and snapped. Next time, can we ask questions before dismissing, concluding, or criticizing? Person B, resistant. I was just being honest. You overreacted. Person A, negotiating now. Well, if I own my strong reaction, can you own yours too? Person B, well, if I do, I need to pause. If I pause, can you not press on me until I'm ready to talk? Person A, okay, well, I can wait. And when you come back, can you come back with your reflection, not blaming? Person B, softening. Well, I guess I can do that. But if I do that, can you do the same? The other person says, okay, deal. There's just a quick negotiation exchanges, particularly for relational conversations. So I did a couple of talks on finances, jobs, and stuff like that. But tonight, I really want to focus a little bit more on the relational aspect. So what is negotiation? Negotiation isn't about winning or losing. And in fact, if you are thinking about negotiation is about me winning something or the other person losing something, you are already lost. So negotiation isn't about winning or losing. It's about building a relationship you both respect and trust. You might not get the outcome exactly the way you want, but you will still grow. You can keep the relationship going. And the key thing is that when it comes to negotiation in relationships, don't attach your emotions to it. The outcome, the process, the exchanges don't define your self-worth. It's got nothing to do with who you are. You are just exchanging, getting the best out of it, right? And the word negotiation comes from Latin. Negotiation means to do a deal. It's not casual chit-chat in leisure time. It's serious. It simply means people talking to fix a problem, to work out a solution. It's about finding a middle ground where everyone agrees about the plan or the outcome. But remember, agree doesn't mean you will feel good. It's just being fair. You might not get everything you want. The other person might not get everything they want, but that's how it is. And the goal is to hear each other clearly, to acknowledge each other's points of view, and to come up with a goal together in agreement. So why do we need negotiation? Well, because a lot of things that we do and we say are not clear. The expectations that we carry in our mind, they're not clear. They're not clearly communicated. And we thought the other person knows, but the other person just doesn't know. So when that happens, it hurts. So without negotiation, we risk having less love, less respect, less trust in the process or in the conversation or in the relationship. So scriptures on negotiation, Amos chapter 3 and verse 3, it says, how can two walk together except they are in agreement? Okay, so imagine if one is running, another one's crawling, you know what? It's not going to be helpful. It can only create frustration, resentment, or distance. Now, in saying that though, what if something in our lives, in a relationship, someone can actually run faster, but the other person can't run as fast? I really think it's okay as long as you have communication. You don't have to be on the same pace, but as long as you're on the same page. So you just make sure that everyone understand each other, we can work with it, right? Isaiah chapter 1 in verse 18, it says, "Come now, let us reason together, says the Lord. Though your sins be like scarlet, but they shall be white as snow." What does that mean? That means the Lord knows the issue, but he still invites conversation, negotiation, and reconciliation. The Lord could say, "Oh, well, your sin is so terrible, I'm going to judge you." But it doesn't say that. It said, let's just reason together. You tell me why, and I'll tell you my why. And let's come to some sort of agreement together. And Isaiah chapter 1 in verse 18 is a really key word. And in fact, the whole book of Isaiah is about God judging his people, actually. Prophet Isaiah was really intense. So remember, Abraham negotiated with the Lord in Genesis 18 as well. I think I did a really lengthy talk on that. And a couple of points from there was more like the Lord would actually stop. He would let the other two angels to walk ahead of him. And he would stop and wait for Abraham to negotiate a talk with the Lord. Because like the Lord actually said, should I hide this from Abraham? We're actually on the way to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And yet he stopped. Why did he stop? He was waiting for Abraham to counter offer. To say, "Lord, what if you have some righteous people there? Will you destroy?" That's not like you, Lord. That's not like your character. So he was actually waiting for Abraham to negotiate with him. A few smaller points about negotiation. Before we negotiate, we have to understand a few things. Number one is perception of power, which I covered that last time. Power is often a matter of perception. So, in other words, if you believe that person has power over you, then they do. If you don't believe that that person has power over you, then they don't. Okay? Remember, there's always a balance of power. I always believe that you need them and they need you in any relationship. All right? So it's never a top-down or one-way or lopsided. Watch out for pretend agreements or fake agreements. These things happen when two people in a relationship have different terms, different expectations, different styles, different communication styles. They always get frustrated because they don't negotiate. You don't see negotiation. You don't see the balance of power. And that's why they always argue. Whenever a couple or in a relationship, when people always argue, they keep repeating arguing, it actually shows that they have a lot of pretend agreements. They haven't really sat down and to say, "Hey, look, this is my expectation. What's yours? This is what I'm willing to do. What about you?" Usually when people argued, that means they haven't addressed their true expectations. Either they're too afraid to share what they want to do or what they want to share, or they just want to hard out pleasing the other person. As a result, when you see people like that, when you see a couple or a family or a team, when they're like that, what's the result? The result is things get disorganized. Things are not done. And there's always tension. All right. So some quick examples on pretend agreements, like in business, if a partner makes a major decision without the other partner's input, they are in a pretend agreement. If someone controls the finances without sort of collaboration with the other partner, they are in a pretend agreement. At school or at work or in ministry, you want to help someone, but that person doesn't want to get helped. You are in a pretend agreement. Teaching someone who is not listening, right? Or being given a job that you didn't agree to, you're in a pretend agreement. It has to be communicated really well. Or in a relationship, someone doesn't want to work through their issues, or you expect more than you are wanting to give out. Or one person is giving up, but the other person is taking full control, and the other person just follows along. There's a lot of pretend agreements when you really get to know people a little bit more deeply, right? So basically communication is the key, and you always remember, you always have to communicate what you need, what you desire, and what you want. Like I mentioned before, when you negotiate, if you are thinking about winning or who's losing in a conversation, you are already lost, because Communication and negotiation is not about that. Don't assume they know your needs and your wants, even after all these years. Like Helen and I, we still have to communicate because every situation is different. Every stage of life is different. So you always have to communicate. If you think the other person doesn't know, then communicate. Yeah, don't speak what they want to hear to get the right answer. Speak what you truly want and what you truly need. And don't speak to demand. Don't speak to blame. Speak to ask. Speak to learn. Speak to acknowledge. Speak to understand. That's a good marriage counseling right there. So now I'm kind of like going to a little bit more back end now. We have to learn to move from reaction to rhythm. What I mean by that is that well-trained people plan their emotional moments. They don't just wing it. If you think that you don't have to study yourself, you don't have to be more self-aware, you don't know what gets you, then you will blow up and you'll be on the losing side. So remember, well-trained people plan for emotional moments. They don't just wing it. And consistent habits build strong patterns in the mind. Practice and repetition ensure long-term consistency, because if you don't really plan it, if you don't really work it, then when it comes to the time that you get emotional or you explode, it gets so automatic, and then you have to reconcile and then you have to apologize, just the whole deal. And I thought to myself, can I actually skip that? Oh yes, I can. I just have to work at it. Right. So when you learn to spot and control your own triggers, your approaches become clean, focused, and powerful. And that's where you change. So I like house church because you guys come consistently. Like, you will just work on these things so systematically. And one day you become so consistent with the way you react, the way you talk about things. Like Helen said, don't just manage the conversation or the person. Upgrade your entire identity as a Christ-like negotiator. Whenever some people tells you something, it's not like a verdict. You can always counter-offer. You can always negotiate. Okay, so I've got some wise insights, and I will only share a few, and then you can share. You can just pick up some points, and we can talk about it. Okay, a professional victim is one who can't say or won't say what they need and what they want, because they just can't face their own unbearable feelings. You can't negotiate like a professional victim, and you can't negotiate with a professional victim either, because they see everything as ultimatums. They believe that they have no right to appeal on anything. So if you come across people like that, or if you think yourself like that, you need new insights, you need new skills, you need small wins every day to renew your mind and to change, right? Saying no, not yet, or you need to wait is normal as part of the balance of power. Don't let others bully you into agreeing, and don't bully others into agreeing with you. Challenge the wrong belief that an authority figure's decisions are always final. You have to challenge that belief. This is a childhood trap that you need to get rid of. Assure yourself that no conclusions are irrevisable. You can always interpret the situation and to find your new conclusion with the Lord. You can always counter-offer, counter-propose. It's all negotiable. Just a couple more and I'm going to let you guys to have a go. If you still fear that that person would get angry when it comes to a disagreement or negotiation, guess who has the upper hand before you even start? Don't even think that you fear that person. There's no fear in you. If the Lord is for you, who can be against you? The Lord's love is with you, so do not fear. If you were always taught to keep them happy, then their feelings are your responsibility. Then you will back down, you will compromise before you start. Remember, submission is always two ways. The word says, submit to one another. You're not living in subjugation. Do not fuse the two different concepts. Your trust is in the Lord, not in forcing other people to agree with you. I overreacted disarms more bombs than you started it, whoever. So basically, you have to own up. Okay, don't come in hot when you are not ready to talk with a cool head and clear words. Just don't talk. It's okay. So say I overreacted first. You will see the wall come down. We also have to realize that our own wounds will tell you that it's their faults. But you have to learn to silence them by owning your part instead of saying that, oh yeah, that person makes me angry. I've got a lot more here if you guys want to share and discuss. So that's actually pretty much my talk. And any immediate feedback or questions?
If the one after, if you still feel it, or at least it was like the one after, if you feel that person will be angry,
Oh, then that person already has an upper hand over you.
the one after that, or that one the happy one.
You mean, yeah, their happiness is your responsibility? Yeah. No, you're not responsible for their happiness. They are responsible for their own happiness. Yep. All right. Any questions?
Question on the professional fit and talk a little bit more about what